is playing a bad guy, and what type of characters would you want to play in the future?
You rolling? Well, I'm playing a military guy in Outrage, and I guess I'm primarily mostly thought of as playing villainous characters or nefarious characters, and I certainly don't think Outrage is going to do anything to change that. I had fun with it. Would like to have had a couple more days, but we had a tight shoot and a tight schedule. It's hard to get everything you want in a shoot like that, but I tried to do the best I could. The thing is that I played so many of those types of characters over the years that I'm beginning to be a bit typecast, and I'm thinking that I don't want to be 75 years old with the pistol and the cigarette, and so I better change my my MO a little bit, and I'm going to look for some kindler, gentler characters to play. I know that sounds goofy, but that's true. I'd like to. I think I'm a leading man trapped in a bad guy's body. I need to find some parts where I can save everybody in the town and ride off into the sunset with the girl on the back of the horse. And after having saved everyone, I think Humphrey Bogart did that in Maltese Falcon. He played a bad guy in like 40 pictures for Warner Brothers. Then he did a picture for John Huston, and he changed his whole career. And so maybe I'll get lucky as long as I hang in there. And I'm starting to produce my own screenplays, my own material now, and I'm hoping that I can control my own destiny a little bit. And sooner or later, you gotta diversify in your characterizations. But I love making movies, and acting was a way for me to find something to contribute to the universe in a world that I thought I didn't belong. So
So will you eventually be going into directing?
well, I'd like to start directing, and in fact, I've been directing myself for years. I I I think the director is probably the most overestimated thing on the set, because if everybody knows what they're doing, all you need is somebody to tell you to go slower or faster. But if you think back on people like George Stevens or Orson Welles or Alfred Hitchcock and those kind of people, a director is very important and can be really, really can make or break a movie. And I'd like to try my hand at directing. Nobody's asked me to do that yet, but I do have some things I'm looking at currently that I'd like to act and direct in. I like to stay busy and get involved in the whole process much more than I used to. And I got producing and directing, I think I'd like to get involved in later on.
Great. Okay, and the last question is, so what is your ideal role, like for like your next film that someone out there might want to create? Or
I think I'm ideally suited for, the bad guy with a heart of gold, or the good guy who has an unmistakable touch of the gutter. I mean, I don't think that I'm not a pretty face, and so if I play the hero, I'm going to have to be I'm going to have to be a hero with a past and something to overcome. But if you look at history and you look at movies, some of the best villains made great leading men, and vice versa. A lot of leading men played great villains. Look at Henry Fonda when he did Once Upon a Time in America and shot that kid. I mean, you don't think of Henry Fonda doing something like that. Even Gregory Peck in Duel in the Sun. Gregory Peck always played leading men, and then he was a bad guy in Duel in the Sun. But he was a fun bad guy, and he was like really colorful. And I just think that if you play, I think for me it's always going to be a combination of a little bit of good and a little bit of not so good. But I'd like the storyline to start lending its way more toward the right side of the law. And a movie like The Getaway, like McQueen did The Getaway with Peckinpah. I mean, the guy's in prison and he's a bank robber and things like that. But you want to see him get away at the end, and you want to see him win. I think I bring up Bogart again, but he had that kind of quality of even when he was a bad guy, you still liked him. You still wanted him to get away with whatever he was doing. I try to get there sometimes, and it's hard when you got problematic screenplays and you got little time to shoot stuff and a lot of different people and a lot of different actors who are forced into a situation where they have to crank out something really fast. And I've learned my lesson along the way to kind of keep focused and do what I do and not let too many other things interfere with what I'm thinking about. And it's kind of tricky sometimes, but I'm getting better at it.
Great. All right. Thank you, Michael Madsen.
Thank you, Ace.